Alright, now let's start with practical demonstration of AWS Glue. So I'm inside my AWS management console, logged in as an administrator, and I recommend you do the same so that we don't have any issues with permissions. So before we start, we'll have to create a IAM role, and console will create it for you if you want, but let's create our own role. So I'm going to go to IAM, go to roles, create role, and then which service is going to use the role. So let's look for Glue, select Glue, click permissions, and over here we are looking for 3 permissions. First of all would be S3 full access, so I'm going to select that. The other one that I'm looking for is Redshift full access, and Glue doesn't require Redshift, but we are going to look at a demo where we will require Redshift, so we are going to select that. And then the other one is the Glue service, AWS Glue service role. So we require 3 policies that we need to attach. Next we'll go to tags, review, and give it a name, and you'll have to make sure that the name is exactly the same. AWS Glue service role with all the caps and everything should be exactly the same, otherwise the demo will not work. Now I already have a role created, so it won't let me create a role, but you should have the role name with AWS Glue service role with 3 permissions: Amazon S3 full access, Redshift full access, and Glue service role. And go ahead and create this role if you have not already, and then we can move to the next part. So like if I go to my IAM and then roles, I already have this role created with this 3 policies, and that's pretty simple enough. So now let's go to Glue. So over here I don't have any tables or anything. So first of all we are going to add a crawler, and before that in S3 I have uploaded this CSV file which has US videos of YouTube. It has statistical data about it, like how many hits were for this particular video and things like that from YouTube. So we are going to crawl this data and bring the metadata in AWS Glue. So I'm going to go back, go to crawlers, click on add crawler here, and then we'll give it a name, YouTube data crawler, click next. And the data store is S3, and the other data stores could be JDBC, DynamoDB, like Redshift or RDS, but we'll go with S3. And then the path, this could be in our account or could be a public data in somebody else's account, or non-public data in somebody else's account if you have access. So I'm going to click on select path in my account, and over here I'm going to select the file, click next, and here you could create an IAM role, let the console create an IAM role over here, or you can choose an existing IAM role, and we're going to select our service role that we had created. So we have provided the data source, we have provided the role, click next, and you can have frequency, how long or how often do you want to run the crawler if your data keeps changing. But right now I'm going to select run on demand, click next. And then the database, we really haven't created any database in AWS Glue, so let's create a database. I'm going to name it as YouTube, and then click on create. Do you want to add any prefix to your tables? So we're going to say no, or no prefix right now. So that's pretty much it to create a crawler. And so we provided our data store, IAM role, the schedule, name of our database, and now I'm going to click on finish. So the crawler is created, but we need to actually run it. So I'm going to select this and click on run crawler. So now it says attempting to run crawler and the name of the crawler. So now you'll see the status over here change and go through various stages. And so now it's starting, so it's running and all. So once the crawler is finished, it will crawl through the data, gather the metadata of our data, and then we'll view the metadata inside AWS Glue. So now the status is ready over here. So our crawler is ready. So if you go to database and tables, or you go to databases, you see our database is created. We can manually also create a database, YouTube, and then when you click on tables in YouTube, you see the table over here. We didn't specify a table name, it just picked it on its own. And the locations, I can click on this table and then we can get the details over here. So it parsed all the columns in that CSV file, and then it also determined the data type of all the columns. And so we have video ID, trending date, title, likes, dislikes, comment count, and things like that for the video from that CSV file. And so we can view properties over here. So it shows the JSON representation of the table along with all the metadata, like record count and average size per record and things like that. You can also edit the schema, like if you want to delete some rows or columns, then you can do that, not the rows but columns. So I'm going to cancel this. And before we move ahead, let's look at the data as well. So like we have the columns over here, the column name, so that's where it picked those from. And then we have trending date, title, channel title, category, publish time. So we have all this CSV data. So you can select any data you want with description and all. So that's our CSV file. So basically we were able to crawl the data using AWS Glue. And then later on we'll see how to utilize the crawl data, what do we actually do with this. But the basic idea of this video was to see how to crawl data in AWS Glue. So the data is not in AWS Glue, it is actually inside S3. Glue just has the metadata, the details of the schema. Now in the next video, we'll see how to crawl data in Redshift using AWS Glue. And then after that, we'll utilize all this data for storing in some other data source and things like that. So that would be covered in forthcoming videos.